Say that again.
Yeah, right. Sure. Just a
What?
second now.
Well, what better way to start a family vacation episode than a bunch of stress where nothing is going well? And not only are we late, we're late leaving. Okay, now we're under a time crunch,
Yeah, we're
and
not
we're
going to get
all
the
a little
ferry.
irritated. This is a
Hold on, I
perfect
forgot
start
something. I
to
have to go back.
yeah, we got to go back home. Forgot to do something. It's a perfect start to a family vacation episode. So you know what? I'm gonna jump right into it, do a little hook line, and then we're just gonna launch right in. Love the shades and the shirt, by the way.
Well, it's a
Yeah, looking sharp.
vacation podcast, man. All right.
Vacation podcast. And, what better way, a family vacation, where else can your parents spend thousands of dollars for you to fight in a different location? From fights on the freeway to toothpaste wars in airport bathrooms, and every vacation potentially being your last, family vacations were some of the most amazing and stressful things your family ever did together. Today, my dad and my brother, who were there through all of it, are here to talk about some of our best and most memorable moments. This is going to be a good one. Let's go. We're already off to a good start. We got the high stress vibes, and this could not be a better start. So I want to thank you guys both for joining. This is awesome. We'll try to keep the cortisol levels low and not bring up too many traumatic events from the past.
It's okay. Why do I
Great.
feel like I'm about to get picked on again?
You're not actually. I tried to keep it quite neutral here. Dad's not going to get picked on, but Dad, I just feel like as the dad of the family, and if Mom was here, she would have her thing too. I feel like family vacations were definitely the hardest on the parents. Would you agree with that?
I think so. Family vacations weren't just leaving the house, it was planning. It was where's the money coming from? Who's working overtime? Where should we go? Can we get a hotel? There was no internet in those days,
Yeah.
right? So getting out the door was probably the most stressful part of the journey until later on.
Yeah, until 10 seconds later, he left the driveway.
Yeah. Well,
How,
maybe left the driveway.
maybe. On average, how long did it take for a fight to break out? Let's say morning of the vacation. Let's say we're out of the house. Let's say we're in the car. How long did it take for a fight to break out?
Well, if we were in the Volvo or the rodeo, it was before the car got out of the driveway.
Yep.
If we were in the big blue van, we probably got to Mount Doug Park
Yep.
before chaos started.
Was that the
Despite
point?
the fact that two of you were in separate seats and one had their whole seat to themselves.
Yep. Was that the point that you just thought about maybe turning around and just calling the whole thing off?
There was thoughts about that,
Or
but
just
I also wanted to go on vacation, so I figured somehow we would struggle through this and get to Nirvana
it would get
at
better,
some
right?
point. Yeah,
Maybe
maybe when we got home.
dump on us in the woods and just going to the airport by
Yeah,
yourself.
that could be.
You know that, and that's true. And I didn't think about that till we started. I think fights broke out immediately within 5 seconds of being in the car because someone's pillow was touching someone's arm.
Or someone's stuffed animal was in the same place, or their snack
Missing or he's got more leg room,
Fell out the window.
fell out the window.
fell out the window. Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. So let's get right into it. Garrett, I'll go with you first. Of all the vacations we took, which one stands out to you the most and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Thank you. I pride myself on my
Um,
journalistic integrity.
ooh,
And Dad, you can
probably.
also jump in if you got one right off the bat while Garrett percolates on
I'm,
it.
I'm thinking Cuba.
Yes, I think that's mine too. One of them. Okay,
Yeah.
why Cuba?
That was the first time I was scolded in another country with the dreaded finger wag
I
that
still
cut me
think
very
about that
deep.
to this day.
Stop that! I still feel it. And
Tell the story.
just the whole experience.
Yeah, Cuba was
And
amazing. I remember that we had this awesome idea to play tennis, so we went to an all-inclusive resort. I was 14. Garrett, you must have been what, 8?
sounds about right.
Dad, how old were you?
Old, but not that old.
Old enough, right?
I was still young, actually.
Young. Had this awesome idea. The resort had tennis courts. We thought it would be this great thing to play tennis every morning. We got on the tennis court, lasted about 14 seconds before we were just baked alive on that clay court. We are like, this is not going to happen.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah.
What I remember about that vacation, probably two things was one, we bought Garrett a special sun suit
Oh yeah.
so he wouldn't burn to death, and we had to tell him it was a triathlon suit so he would wear it, but he didn't wear it all the time, and he was just burnt to a crisp. And
First
then
day.
and then if I remember this vacation correctly, Alvin got dumped in the laundry, and we had to go try to speak to the Cuban laundry people and find the Alvin or one of the stuffed
Or
animals.
correct. I believe
Um,
it was Dutton.
Yeah,
that
I don't
yeah,
think Adam would have
yeah,
been bringing stuffed animal at 14. I hope not.
Oh, you never know. Yeah, Garrett's stuffed bear. I remember that.
yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
I mean, I think they're trying to hold it hostage actually for an
They might
international
have.
incident.
You
That's
better
probably the
leave
first
some.
time he'd been washed.
Yeah, I need some bigger tips. The thing I remember about Cuba too, not only like how fun it was so awesome, but that's where I learned that like laws are not universal. Liquor laws are not universally applied. You know, like you go up to the bar, you're like, yeah, what daiquiri? We're getting daiquiris. Like, with rum? You're like, I don't know. I guess. Okay. You want double? I don't know. What's that? Yeah, you have double. All right. Yeah. Um, what was okay, flip side. So that one stands out as kind of the best. What do you guys remember as like the most stressful vacation or the vacation that was your least favorite looking back?
Well, they all had some stress in them, but I would say the one it was a good vacation, but we'll talk about it through several of these um, sections that you have laid out. But
All right.
the Disney World, Knott's Berry Farm, uh, Caribbean cruise vacation with the meltdown in the Miami airport.
Yeah, well, I kind
I,
of mentioned that.
the meltdown in the Miami airport was is my most vivid recall of any vacation that we've had.
Well, please, Dad, tell us more.
So we had finished the vacation, and I may reiterate again: Disney World, Knott's Berry Farm, one of the big water parks, and a cruise. And we had left Puerto Rico, come back into Miami. We're sitting in the Miami airport. Brendan and Garrett go to the washroom. I have no idea what happened in there, but obviously something ticked Brendan off, and Garrett came out covered in toothpaste. And all I can remember is every second word out of my mouth was the F word. And I just said, you guys were going on the airplane. And I walked about 50 feet ahead of you, and I cursed the entire walkway. And it was like every second, I can't believe you've done this. We've spent this money on this vacation. And Garrett was covered in toothpaste, and Brendan was doing his usual Mr. Burns snicker.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
guilt.
yeah, that one sticks out for
I
sure.
still have the duffel bag from that trip, and to this day, there's still a toothpaste mark on it.
Oh,
Memory that will last forever. You know, Dad, of all the stress we caused you on vacations, it's funny because that is the one that sticks out to me too. I've never seen you so mad at us. I think that was the single incident in our entire family history of all the horrible things we did growing up and all the things we did to stress you out. That was the one incident where I was like, oh, holy smokes, like that's it.
I'm surprised actually that you weren't taken into child care custody. How mad I was, but
Yeah. I was
anyways, here
just
we are.
so glad I was. That was one of the things I wasn't involved in, and I was so grateful that I was not in that bathroom by just sheer luck of probably not having to go to the bathroom.
Oh, there you
Uh,
go.
yeah, Garrett, what's yours? What's your like most vivid memory, good or bad, or what's your like highest, most stressful memory, or like worst?
Well, I don't want to sound ungrateful here, but there was that one vacation where we were told we were going to a beach house, and sure enough, we get there, beautiful house, nice view,
Yeah, yeah,
and Adam and I decide to go check out the beach.
yeah,
Well, we come to the top of a rocky cliff, and maybe about 300 feet down is water,
yeah.
but there's no sand.
Like if you fell off the cliff, you would die.
And that's when we're like, where's the friggin' beach? I think we even tried to go down there, but
I
we
think
didn't
we
make it
did.
very far.
Even in our most
What
daring days, we knew it was like a terrible
That was,
idea.
that was Gabriola,
which vacation was that?
Gabriola Island.
Well, okay.
Remember that one?
I must have put it out of my mind.
You
And
might, it
I
must have
just
been so bad that you blocked it out.
And I think I just seen American Pie 2, and they stayed in a beach house. So
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
mind,
yeah.
that's what it was going to be like. And
This is
then
gonna be awesome.
my dreams of that basically jumped off that cliff.
I remember, okay, so Gabriel Island, I remember that was like awesome, but also kind of, it was really like a tease because like there was this beautiful beach down there, but it was down this cliff that like if you fell off that cliff, you would die because there was really no way to get to you. Um, and I remember just like these big waves coming and crashing in these jagged rocks. But my main memory, other than that, well, I have a lot of memories of that vacation actually. One of them is that, so we're on an island and we were like pretty isolated, right? From we were there for like a week. Do you remember the day we went into Nanaimo? And we went to what was it, Woodbridge Mall or what was that?
Woodgrove.
Woodgrove Mall. We were like guys getting out of prison because Nanaimo had a surprisingly like large amount of attractive women, and we were like guys who had gotten out of prison, like we hadn't seen a woman in like years. And we were, huh?
Yeah, well, it's not the same if you go back to that mall now.
I bet it's not. I bet it's not. I'm trying to think of what is my most stressful moment. I don't know. There were a couple, but you know what? One that sticks out to me. Do you remember that Montana car like road trip we took where we stayed at all the KOAs?
Yes.
Me?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you remember this, but I had this like obsession with trying to get a Super Soaker 100 because they were
Yes.
really hard to get in Canada. And I thought, well, we'll go to the States. They have so many toy stores. We must have traveled every single place we went to. We went to a toy store, couldn't find a single one. And that was a high stress point for me. Like as the vacation wore on and on, realizing I'm not going to fulfill my childhood dream of getting the Super Soaker 100.
Dude, if you want to talk about stressful moments on that trip, and I know we're jumping around here,
Oh,
but you may or may not remember there was two tents. Mom and I had a tent, and you guys had a tent,
I remember.
and it was at a KOA, so just like a big open field and hope for the best. And that night there was a huge thunder and lightning and rainstorm. And partway through the storm, with all the lightning and everything else, you guys are screaming from your tent, "Dad, Dad, Dad!" And the water's actually up into the tents at this time. So I figure something bad's happened. I come out through the field to your tent, open the door. We're out of chips. Can you get us some chips? Yeah, you were lucky you survived that night as well. I'm
There was
so
a
I'm soaking wet, thinking my children are dying and they're out of chips.
Did you get it?
There you
Did you
go.
get us more chips?
No.
Hmm, I see. Well,
I
good.
put
We didn't deserve them. I remember that too. I remember that. I remember also being in a torrential downpour at Galliano Island. I feel like that was another one. That was another camping vacation where it just like it was nice some weather sometimes, but there was at least one day of just crazy torrential downpour, and we were pretty much stuck in the tents all day.
Yeah, and the tent with the tarp was over the top of the blue van, over the top of the tent, and there was about 3,000 gallons of water
Yep.
inside the tarp when we eventually dumped it, and half of it got all over the tent.
Yep.
So
Oh my gosh. Well, so, and this is something I didn't come to understand until I was older. I think there's a big difference between like a child's perspective of being on vacation and a parent's perspective. Because like I don't know, Dad. Like from as a parent myself now, I think the perspective of a parent is like, yeah, you want everyone to have a good time, but you're also like you are in charge of everyone's safety and making sure everything goes okay. You're in a different country, maybe you don't know what's going on or the surroundings and stuff. Whereas like the kids, so selfish as always, you're only concerned about your own pleasure, right? And I think one thing we just didn't understand is like, why couldn't we make tons of noise and fight and argue in the back seat while you're driving on the California freeway?
I think the other thing is as children, you just didn't realize the world was a nasty place. And there was things out there that we hadn't experienced or you hadn't experienced, um, that could very well happen. And the one that comes to mind is Stockton, California, when we were driving to Disneyland, when we were getting into Stockton quite late at night, and my selection of motels was not obviously the best one. And we were driving through what one only can describe as a depressed neighborhood with high crime rate based on looking at the people on the street. And there was a small park, and we were on the way to Disneyland, and there was a small park,
Yeah.
just a regular playground, and there was some rocket ship on it.
Yeah.
And you guys had a complete meltdown that we couldn't stop. And you could ride the rocket ship, and then later we could be shot dead and our wallets taken.
I
So
remember that.
it's funny, yeah.
I'm freaking out. So mad. You're the worst
Oh,
dad ever.
as
I
we're on
want
our
to
way
ride
to
the rock.
Disneyland.
We're going to Disneyland tomorrow. I don't care. Sometimes on this show, I do look back. I'm like, my God, like what a spoiled, entitled. There's so many things you could
Ungrateful.
ungrateful. My God. But I'm just gonna blame it on the kid perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
It's totally selfish. Here's another one for you. How hard was it to go on a vacation when there was no Google Maps?
Well, it was different because you actually had to sit down before and plan it out. Um, I think the biggest issue was because the maps were huge and you'd be driving the car and mom would be the navigator or whoever would be the navigator and they would have the map open and I couldn't see out the right side of the windshield or the right side driver's or passenger's mirror. So it made driving absolutely so stressful. And then the writing is about this big, and you're saying, which exit, which exit? I can't see. I don't know. They changed the names going through Miami when they changed all the road names, and the map had different names for different roads.
Jeez.
It's much better now.
It's shocking anyone went on vacation.
Everybody went on vacation.
Everybody went on vacation. But I mean, like, I can't imagine now sitting. I'm not proud to say it, but I can't really read a map. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure if my life really depended on it, I could fit. Well, okay, no, that's true. I can. But I'm not going to get a map of California and try to make that happen. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
No,
going to go to another state or another country and like, I'm sure this will work out. And I can't see this leading to many domestic disputes along the way.
and yet still today, using the big paper map for planning the trip
Right.
is important, at least to me, sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
and then Google will take it the rest of the way.
Totally, and AI and stuff will tell you, what to eat at what restaurant at what time and everything. Gary, we
Yeah.
did a lot of long road trips. Thinking back before the era of cell phones, how did we entertain ourselves on those long drives besides fighting?
Ooh, your imagination, but that
Yeah,
would only go so far.
so far.
Staring out the window. I,
I've like books, right? Did you bring books on road trips?
good one.
I know you had Goosebumps books. This came up another. You had a large collection of Goosebumps. So I'm wondering if you ever brought your books or anything. I know you brought toys and stuff.
What's toys?
Yeah,
But
Batman
generally
figures.
just
Yeah.
staring out the window and pretending there was like something like running along the fence line going super fast.
I remember counting fence posts or making up this weird game where you would pretend like you were running along the top of the fence post or
Yeah,
something, or you would have these
that's what I meant.
crazy jumps, like
Yeah,
pretending like, what if I was running this fast and I could do these crazy high jumps? And like that was how you would pass the time, like making up crazy games.
not now.
Not now. Or music, Walkmans were big, right? Jerky. Do you guys remember when we used to listen to Jerky Boys tapes
Yeah,
and CDs together on road trips?
Oh yes.
yeah. Especially to Prince George.
Oh yeah. 12-hour road trip. For people who don't know, Jerky Boys was also something like kind of a staple of growing up in the 90s. It was these guys who pretty much became like celebrities from making prank phone calls to businesses and recorded them. They created all these hilarious characters, and our whole family, except mom, loved the Jerky Boys. So they would be like ration, like, okay, we can do 1 hour of Jerky Boys or 45 minutes of Jerky Boys, and then we're gonna listen to something else, and we're gonna keep
Read the
switching.
Bible for 2 hours.
Well, maybe pop in a Josh Groban CD or something, and then we're gonna, yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld
Oh,
and
Seinfeld is a good one. We had the sign language CD. That was fun. That was a fun memory. Like all of
Weird
us.
Al.
I brought Weird Al's greatest hits on a road trip, and that's one of the only times I've littered like out the window. After about 50 minutes of lasagna, I took the CD and I hurled it out the window. I was like, I can't do this.
See you later.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Maybe Weird Al in small doses. But all right, speaking of stressful moments, Dad, if you had to think back, was there a vacation where you did not threaten that this was our last one ever?
I don't, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
No.
Um,
or mom.
I although no, now that I stop thinking about it, there may have been a couple where I said it, but it never followed through.
Would never follow through. But no, that's just like, so that's funny. It's like, I think what I've learned, a lot of people, because this is in my book, right? A lot of people wrote to me and it's like, I'm on vacation with my family right now, and I just threatened that this is the last one ever. So I can relate to that chapter. I think that's just part of family vacations, is that at some point the kids push the parents far enough and they snap and they say, "That's it. We are never going on vacation again." And that's usually the point in the trip where the behavior changes a little bit and hopefully improves.
Things get quiet.
Hopefully, things get quiet. Well, I remember the moment, Garrett. I don't know if you were there. Dad. I think this was our Disneyland trip. Oh, maybe Garrett. Maybe you were. I can't remember. I just have a memory of I had this really favorite lawn chair, like a kid's lawn chair, and it was this hotel motel thing with like multiple stories and a courtyard pool. Being down at the pool and all of a sudden seeing my favorite lawn chair come flying off the like upper level balcony, tossed right down in the courtyard and smashed, broken. And be like, yo, what the And Brendan had thrown my lawn chair off the balcony. Like we could have got kicked out. Like we were like crazy, like rock stars partying it up at these hotels. Like we could have got kicked out for this crazy behavior. But that was the moment where it was this the threat came. And even Brendan at that point, who was often the instigator, finally dialed it back, realizing maybe throwing lawn chairs off the balconies was not the smartest move on a family vacation.
Was that the hotel with the saltwater pool?
I can't remember. I don't remember. I just remember the lawn chair coming off and that was it. That was we'd pushed it too far. Um Saltwater pool, I'm trying to think. No, which one was that?
It sounds like what you're describing,
It
but
might have been. It might have been. And just speaking of hotel pools, was that not always like the biggest draw for kids on vacation? Like how come like you could get out of like a 8 hour road trip and within 30 seconds like kids got their bathing suits on, want to go
oh
to
yeah,
the pool.
straight to the pool.
Straight to the pool. That's the standard.
And speaking of straight to the pool, if Garrett, you'll remember this on the Disney World, blah 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 cruise vacation when we stayed overnight in Miami, and I picked the wrong hotel to save $50, and it said it had a pool, and so the pool was actually a closed community pool that was 2 blocks from the hotel. You and I went; everyone else was staying in the room, and we get into this pool. It looks like an abandoned movie set. There's nobody around, and you hop in the pool, and then we're swimming around, and then one of the neighborhood kids, youth, come
Upstanding
along.
young
He's
man.
upstanding young man. Um, Spent more time in jail or on probation than he has in years lived, and sat down. And then another buddy came down, and another one, and another one, and pretty soon there was about 6 people there who my paramedic brain was going, we need to leave here right now. And I'm saying to Garrett, we got to go. Well, I don't want to go. And he'd swim away. I go, for F's sakes, come here. We've got to go. I try not to raise my voice. He goes, I don't want to go. Why do we have to go? And so I just sort of pointed quietly to the stands. I said, one of those people up there has a gun and they're going to kill us. And then we left and went back to the hotel, locked the door, and didn't leave until the next day.
I remember that.
I remember the pool.
How old were you, Garrett? You must have been 9. I think you were probably 9 because I think I was 15 on that vacation.
Yeah,
Kids don't understand.
clueless.
And again, it goes back to why vacations are so stressful for the adults because that is your job, right? To like,
Yep.
you got to keep the family alive in a different location with different stressors and different potential threats. And
And grandparents expect the grandchildren to come back from
they
vacation
do.
alive.
They
Yeah.
want the pictures, right? And yeah, I think
Three kids go, 3 kids come back.
they better come back, right? Oh, that's hilarious. I remember that. You know, this pops up for me too. I remember the last time my story is not even close, but just about the pool, how like, kids like this is their main focus. They don't care about much else. I remember last time we stayed at a hotel. So Ayla, my daughter, of course she wants to go to the pool, right? She's got her bathing suit on the second we get in there and she's so excited. And so I take her down to the pool and I don't want to say disgusting, but not enticing. I'm looking at the water. It's like cloudy. It's murky. I look at the quote unquote hot tub. It's like a plastic circle filled with murky, lukewarm water and about 6 or 7 people already in it. I was like, ugh, disgusted. And of course, Ayla just like wants to get right in there. She's down there for 2 hours, like could not care less. Like it really didn't matter like the condition of the pool or who else was in it. Like you were as a kid, you were just staying in that pool. Now, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. This is another memory of mine. Obviously, this is a big one. So when family's on vacation, going out for dinner is a big thing.
Huge thing.
Huge thing. And Dad, you know why I'm bringing this up? I bet you have some inkling. Garrett, maybe?
Well, you're all culpable
Are
in
we?
this
Uh-oh.
chapter.
Uh-oh. Walked into a landmine here. Well, the reason I'm asking, different things, right? We went to some awesome restaurants in our time. So I'm thinking like I was curious what everyone's like favorite restaurant of all time from a vacation is. And also we are going to get into the dinner story that you know is coming up here. Dad, start with you. What's of all the restaurants we ever went to on vacation, which one is your favorite or stands out the most?
Cheesecake Cafe in
Mm,
Kelowna.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree.
That's amazing. Well, this is a good review. I hope they're still open because it's mine too.
Yeah, for many reasons, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's the one that sticks. Of all the restaurants, I
Yeah.
can name that one.
Well,
So
if they're still open, maybe they'll sponsor the podcast next episode. Yeah, Cheesecake Cafe in Kelowna was just that was like 10 stars. It was unreal.
and we got to go back there again and again, despite some of the antics that would happen.
Let's hear about the antics.
Well, the antic that sticks out the most in mind that made me, I guess I can't use that word, annoyed me, um, was Brendan would take the sugar packets, just open them, and then pour it on the table to make a big pile of sugar. And
Yep.
the whole thing was so that the server or the busboy could do the cleanup. That was the whole purpose, and it just made me crazy.
Oh my gosh. I remember that, and I remember the whole debate between you guys. Like you telling him not to do it, and him for some reason thinking that no, this is their job, that they should, well, it's their job, they should clean it up. Like just this crazy, like reasoning of why we're gonna do this. And like not thinking that like, yeah, we're gonna come back here tomorrow. Oh, there's the family with that kid, with that
Yep.
another term I'm not gonna use on the podcast. That you know what kid, blankety blank kid. Yeah, let's give them great service and not spit on their food tonight.
That restaurant cost me more in tips than anything else because I always felt so bad for the
Trying to
staff.
make up for it. Well, they had the best dessert probably I've ever had at a
Yes.
restaurant. The cheesecake.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It was always worth it going there.
So good. Now I remember this from restaurant outings too. Is there was one vacation I'm not sure which one it was, but Garrett, it became this thing with you where we'd always go to dinner or whatever. You would have like 2 bites of your meal, and then you go, I'm full.
Well,
And dad would get so mad because previous to going out for dinner, he would give you the pep talk like, listen, tonight you eat your whole dinner. I don't want the 2 bite thing. You're gonna eat it, or you bring it home, or we're not going out tomorrow. And it was just like this constant battle between you guys.
And it was such a statement that was false. We're not going to go out and eat tomorrow. We're on vacation. We don't have a stove. What are we going
Yeah.
to do?
Well, I remember one time you followed through with it, and I think Brennan got in trouble for something too. And I think now, if memory serves correct, and I might be wrong, I think Mom and I just went out somewhere by ourselves, and it was so awkward and it was so uncomfortable because it felt so wrong to be doing that, and yet you guys had just had it with whatever behavior was going on.
Yeah.
And I remember that was such a weird thing. It was sort of like a fracturing where it's like, this doesn't feel right, and yet there's a lesson that's like needs to be learned here.
And I think it was for to some extent.
Garrett, did you learn anything?
yes, when we go out for dinner now, I eat the whole thing.
You eat the whole thing and a little more? And I really doubt that Brennan is still taking the sugar packets and making messes wherever he's going.
We'll keep an eye on it next time.
Keep an eye on it. But speaking of consequences, you guys did threaten us, and we deserved it. 100% we deserved it. They're like, if this behavior doesn't improve, we're never going on vacation again, or we're going to go on vacation or leave you at home. And we never believed it. And then one year you guys actually did yourselves a favor and you followed through with it. Do you remember that one?
Oh, I remember that clearly.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, all I remember is that we followed through with it, and I think right up until the point that we actually left for the airport, you didn't believe it was going to happen,
No.
and you guys were staying with Oma and Opa, and anger. You guys were very angry, and I had zero guilt.
Good.
Zero guilt. I can't speak for your mother, but I had
Good.
zero guilt.
This is a prank, bro. This is a prank. They're not going to leave us.
Yeah, yeah. They're just going to drive around the block and then come and get us. And our
Where's the hidden
suitcases are all
cameras?
packed in the car. Yeah.
No, this has got episode of totally hidden video. The cameras are going to be revealed. I remember that. Yeah, pretty much up until the morning of, we thought it was going to be this huge surprise and like, we've packed your bags, let's go. I think we did learn something from that one.
I I'm not so sure
Well, hold
that
on. Just because you learn something doesn't mean you're going to apply it.
okay, true.
Yeah. So I think we
True.
did learn something that you guys will actually follow through with what you say sometimes, and that maybe we should have like been more thoughtful and considerate of your guys' needs. Did the lesson stick and did we apply the lesson for long? No.
I I think if vacations hadn't been important to me to go on vacation for some relaxation, we may not have gone.
Yeah.
But but there was no way I was not going on vacation.
Well, exactly. And I wouldn't have blamed you, you know.
So
Yeah. Uh Now I don't think we ever had a vacation that ended early, did we? For one reason or another?
no,
I don't think we did.
not that I recall.
No. I want to share this story real quick. I'm not sure if you guys remember this. There was a year that Brendan and Steve invited us to their cabin in the Okanagan to go for like a week. I think it was a week. So his family would always go up for a month in the summer. And I think, Dad, you drove us up there.
Yep.
We are supposed to be up there a week, maybe two. That is the only vacation in my life that I remember ending early because so Steve's family, his grandparents would go, his sister, his parents, maybe both sets of grandparents. I can't even remember. And I remember like Brendan and I were, I think we ruined another family's vacation because Brendan and I were fighting a lot. And I'm going to blame Brendan for instigating most of the stuff. But, and I guess Steve's dad, he was getting stressed out by everyone, and Brendan and I were adding to it. And one day he was having a talk with Steve's sister because Steve's sister was reading like a book a day. And his dad was like, there's no way you're reading a book a day. There's no way that you're taking everything in and knowing what's going on. And his sister was like, no, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So, all right, fine. Give me that book. I'm going to quiz you. And so his dad starts flipping through the book and asking questions. Well, what happened? What happened after the guy got in the accident? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, who was the person who was responsible for the murder? Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. Okay. Well, what happened in the prologue? And then you hear his sister go, well, I don't know. It's the prologue. I didn't read the prologue. What do you mean you didn't read the prologue? That's important. And then it became this huge thing about whether or not reading the prologue was part of the book and whether it was important or not. And then his sister said, well, no one reads the prologue. It's at the end of the book. No, it's not. It's in the beginning. No, it's at the end. Damn it, the prologue's in the beginning. And he took the book and he hurled it off the deck. Everybody pack up, we're going home. Over the prologue. And he didn't snap over the prologue. He snapped over everything else that had been building up. And the prologue was just like that, the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'd never seen him that mad. And like everyone was terrified. Like no one said a word. Everyone just packed up their bags. And I think his mom was like, David, I think you need to come out. Shut up. He didn't really say that, but I'm sure he wanted to. And that was it. And the vacation was over. We got home like 3 days early, and I think you were probably pretty shocked to see us. Good thing you
Yeah.
guys were home.
Good thing we haven't gone on vacation.
You guys hadn't gone somewhere. And it's just funny. It's funny what sticks out to you. And yeah. All right. I know you guys are probably I know we got to wrap this up for time here, but I'll try to wrap this up here. Dad, would you say if you had to measure your stress levels before and after a vacation, were you more stressed out before you went on vacation and when you got back?
By the time I got back, everything had blown over.
Right.
Right,
Right.
the stress was getting ready for the vacation,
Yeah.
uh, getting out the driveway, and then
Yeah.
just surviving the vacation.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it, they were all wonderful vacations, but they just had their moments of three ring circus chaos.
Totally. And like I honestly would love to do an episode like this again because we have so many stories that we could unpack. Like I made a list of all the vacations we went on, and it's actually crazy. Like there's so many, like Expo 86, Disneyland, Playland, Galliano Island, Mexico, Cuba, the houseboats, right? Six Flags. There's so much stuff we could talk about. So I might
Uh,
invite you guys back another season to
yeah,
go through some of those. Garrett, you're not allowed to talk about the Mexico vacation though. I don't want that out there. That's all I'm going to say about that. Um, and Dad, I want to end with one thing here too. It's funny. So like when I was a kid, I never understood why on vacation you always would get up before everybody else and just like go walk somewhere and get a coffee and just be by yourself and have quiet.
oh, it was magic, and usually it involved a newspaper. And so when we went to Disneyland and that, it was Los Angeles Times with a big coffee, sitting poolside, nobody's around, there's no noise. Read the paper from front to back. It was wonderful. Those were always a good part of the vacation when I could do that.
Would you say that was maybe in some ways like one of your favorite parts, or at least a really meaningful and important part?
An important part. You
Yeah.
know, it started the day off right with no stress, so it
Yeah.
allowed me to get us to breakfast and see what happens after that.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, so now that I'm an adult, I get it, right? It's that peace, it's that quiet, it's that tranquility, it's like the calm reset before the S storm is gonna hit. Because the S storm is gonna hit.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like getting the ship ready.
Yep.
Yeah. And Garrett, I just I feel like I haven't had as many questions for you, but as we get to the end, is there anything you want to share, like anything you want, like, any story you want to tell or anything, or any amazing or awful memory from any of the vacations we've done before we sort of wrap this up here?
Let's save it for the next one.
Save it for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I literally feel like we've barely scratched the surface here. But I know we're all on a little bit of a time crunch, just like a real vacation here. So I would love for you guys to come back again and we'll do it again. But I'll just wrap it up here with really like the whole point of family vacations was to spend time together and relax, make memories that would last a lifetime. And I would say that as parents, like Dad, you and Mom got to do two of those things. You didn't get to relax and you didn't really get to unwind, but I think like it's pretty obvious like all of us made some pretty amazing memories together and it was, the time we got to spend together, even the stressful parts, it's funny like those are some of the memories now, not just the great parts, right? Um I didn't tell this story, but from almost being drowned in a pool to fights over finishing meals and endless threats of every vacation being the last, it was that time we spent together as a family that really did make for the lifelong memories, and I think it was all worth it for the kids at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know what, Dad? I would love to make it up to you now that I have a daughter and stuff. I'm longing for the day where one day I can take you to Disneyland, and you can. Who knows? I'll be the
You
guy
can go
having the quiet.
crazy.
You can drive me crazy, and I'll be the guy having the quiet coffee, stressed out somewhere, freaking out.
Oh, that sounds like a plan.
That sounds awesome. And Gary, you can come too.
Deal.
Awesome. All right, guys.
I'll
Well,
be
thank you
down
so
here.
much. And Dad, I love the outfit. That's awesome.
That's it. I'm
Yeah.
on vacation, my
All
friend.
right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for
Thank
having us
you.
on.
All right. And
Love you
everybody
loads.
else, everybody out there, thanks for listening. And if you're listening on YouTube, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps. And if you're listening on Spotify and you enjoyed it, send it to someone who might get a kick out of it. All right. Thank you guys so much. And we'll chat soon.
All right.
Thanks. See
Okay.
ya.
I gotta go. I gotta go plan our next vacation.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Okay. Love you guys. Thanks.